Hey everybody, welcome to Walking Faith. Today we are going to talk about confrontation. I was doing a little study, a little research, and everything that I was going through came back to this, leading up to what we do. And before we get into that, I just want to start off with a little prayer. I think we're going to do this from now on, just to get the ball rolling. Just a little prayer to get the day started, and just a great way to start the day and moving forward. So, with that being said, this prayer: Our dear Father, we ask you to come to us from heaven and surround us with your goodness and mercy, with your light and life. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. So, with that being said, confrontation. And I'm going to give a couple examples right quick, just so you know where I'm coming from. And but what this is talking about us and being godly leaders, because that's what we're called to do, to get the word out there, to inform everyone, because when we do that, everything's going to be great. I'm not saying that we're going to face circumstances, or from time to time things are going to happen, because they will. But as long as we understand everything that's going on and how it works, it just makes everything easier when you're not sitting there questioning what's going on. But with being a godly leader, this is what leads to confrontation. Also, being misunderstood sometimes. Another one is situations that you don't understand. You're going to be criticized by people, and you're going to be mocked and threatened for following God. And not that, people are doing this intentionally. It's always coming from the devil. And with these certain ways, like you've always heard it, like people have demons, and which is true, we do. At certain times there can be a demon on any one of us. And what I want to talk about with that goes, and this is, I've always wanted to bring this in because this is one of the ways I like to see it. But I imagine, let's just say I've got 10 weaknesses, and these weaknesses can be anything: finances, love, relationships, jobs, whatever the case might be. You can have a weakness in anything. But with that, let's go back to it as far as, let's say I've got 10 weaknesses. So right there is an open door for the devil to send his demons after you, because with those 10 weaknesses, that's how they can come in and mess up your life and get you distracted and just try to keep you down and keep you from doing what you're supposed to be doing. So when it comes to that, this is where I try to, along the journey, finding your purpose and going through this, to dwindle these weaknesses down. So say like, for example, 10, right off the bat, and then, let's try to dwindle that down to 5. Because the way I see it, the lower that number is, the easier it's going to be for you to get through each day, day to day, whatever you're going through. Because usually what you're going through is going to have something to do with this. And going back to the confrontation, this is how other people can come after you too. Not, like I said earlier, not necessarily being these people, but the demons are, whatever is on these people, controlling them, and that's why they're coming after you. But with all that being said, what I want to remind you of, and this is an important key part, God has chosen you to tear down this bondage that demons want over people. And that's like what I was talking about earlier with the weaknesses, and demons can come in, attack you, control your life, probably make you do things that you normally wouldn't do. And these can be from the smallest things to like even on a larger scale. It's just, how long have they been on you? What are they here for? What are they trying to do? All that comes into play when you have these demons on you. So out in the world, that's why, going back to those weaknesses, we try to limit those as much as we can. And as far as limiting these, this is where what I like to do, and you can do it as often as you want to. I don't really have a set, like, once a week or once a month type of deal. Just every now and then I like to sit down and write out what my weaknesses are, think about it. And then you can also talk to other people about it too, because sometimes it's hard. We might not, I guess you can say we're prideful, and we might not be able to see some of the weaknesses that we have. So we can talk to somebody else, and this is where trustworthy and everything comes into play. Because back to, I believe I said this in one of the other ones, the other podcasts that we've done, but not being alone. It is very hard to figure out your purpose, follow your purpose, stay on path, your journey, if you're alone. And relating that back to this, like just being able to talk to someone, like this might be your best friend, your wife, your husband, father, mother, and whoever it might be. And this is where it's real, sit down, have a conversation, and just ask, like, have you noticed anything about me? Like, what a weakness of mine could possibly be, and talk down or sit down and figure this out. And if you want to like keep a little journal, a little notebook or something like that, so I got plenty of them that I have to write down just to be able to remember everything. But I do just so I can keep up with everything. And then, like, let's say going back to that 10 again, write those 10 down, figure out what they are, how you can fix them, what do you need to do to fix them, and to dwindle these down, to limit these. So when we're going out into the world, because that's where what I like to look at it is, I don't want to, when I wake up in the morning, get ready, start my day, and I leave the house, I want to make sure I'm ready to go. I don't want to walk out possibly with demons or something negative or whatever attached to me, and then come across other people out in this world that are, they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, everything's going right, and then I don't want to mess that up. I don't want to ruin it. So that's where I try to make sure that I'm doing my part each and every day, every morning, waking up to, and, or, to limit these weaknesses. And we're going to have probably just one, or I mean, it might be a few, I don't know yet, but we'll go check it out. But another podcast, little series, just talking about, like, I'm gonna call it a routine, but I don't want it to, it's not a routine, just stuff that I do on a daily basis, because I don't like using the word routine, because I feel like, when you're in a routine, you feel like you're stuck doing the same thing over and over again, and that is definitely not what we're looking for, especially moving forward. And that's where we can come in, and I'll throw some ideas out there for you, where each day, you can change it up, and just so it is different, like you don't feel like you're stuck or stagnant, because that's the last thing you want to. But just to help clear your mind, and once you walk out that door, you're ready to go fulfill that purpose, whatever season you're in, and you walk out that door head up high, like you're full force going after it and doing what you're supposed to be doing. And then also, I think, right here with got one Bible verse that I was wanting to share. Let's see if I can, give me 1 second. And this is my fault right here. I should already have this pulled up and ready to go. But in here, we'll be looking at Ephesians 6, verse 10 through 12. Sorry about this taking so long. Okay, I knew I had it marked. I was just trying to find it right quick. But Ephesians 6, verse 10 through 12. A final word: be strong in the Lord and his mighty power. Put on all of God's armor so that you will be able to stand firm against all strategies of the devil. For we are not fighting against flesh and blood enemies, but against evil rulers and authorities of the unseen world, against mighty powers in this dark world, and against evil spirits in the heavenly places. So that's what this was the Bible verse that I wanted to use, because it is relating to what we're talking about with the confrontation, coming out in this world, and especially with like these evil spirits and demons and just anything that can be cast upon us. That's what this is talking about right here. Talking about, like, in this first part, be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power. Because right there, like, you've probably heard me say this thousands of times, but with God, all things are possible. He is the most mighty and can do anything. And that's where, once again, keeping our faith strong and believing in him, because we know that whatever we need, he will provide. And I mean, that's simply it right there. Like, exclamation point, bam, point blank, period. That's just how it is. But I also like to throw in there too, like, we have to make sure we're doing our part. You can relate this, like, with your job. I mean, you can't just show up and not do anything and expect to get paid. So God is still wanting you to do his part. And this is what I like to, this is part of our purpose, whatever it might be, each season, daily, we're just making sure we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. And then right here, verse 11, put on all of God's armor so that you'll be able to stand firm against all strategies of the devil. And that's what I was talking like with the weaknesses and, you know, figuring everything out, limiting those weaknesses and keeping these spirits and demons and entities and anything bad, negative that the devil's throwing at us, the armor of God. You know, God's right here watching over us. We put on his armor. We're going out here and attacking it. Because I can tell you right now, you wake up daily, start your day off right, because the devil's going to come after you, but, you know, he's not going to like this. When you're doing this each and every day, it's going to make him mad. It's going to piss him off. Yeah, you know, it'll get to the point where he's going to try to come after you harder, but like, I think this was the last video where I was talking about the storms and everything that we go through. This is where you're leveling up. You're going to be ready for what he's throwing at you. And then back here, so verse 12, for we are not fighting against flesh and blood enemies, but against evil rulers and authorities of the unseen world. So right there, because it's not, everybody's like, oh man, you know, something's going on with my friend, my mom, my dad, grandparents, or just people that I work with, people that I come across on a daily basis. You know, whatever the case might be, all the people out here in this world, it's not them. That's what that's talking about, as far as, you know, there might be, like, you know, just keep it simple. This person might have a demon on them. They're dealing with something. They're going through their storm. Everything might not be going right here at this time. And yes, we can help them, whatever the case might be. But we just have to know that we can't get mad at them and thinking like, oh man, you know, they're just like, you know, these people are driving me crazy. Because I know that's going to be like one of the thoughts right there. Like, man, you know, I don't like people. Well, it's not necessarily the people. It's just all these negative entities and demons and spirits and stuff like that that are on these people that's causing that. Because God did not create us to be like that. Like, yes, we're sinners, but he did not create us to be bad, mean, harmful, anything like that purposefully. So just when you go out, I just, you know, take that into consideration. Just think about it and try not to, you know, come after them too hard. But even at that point, you know, like, you know, because we can, like, ridden demon spirits, stuff like that, you can pull these off of people. And, you know, we'll get to talking about that in another podcast, but this one I just wanted to focus on the actual confrontation that we ourselves, you know, being godly leaders, like my men of God out there, my women of God out there, just want y'all to know that, you know, every day is not going to be easy. Are there going to be easy days? Yes. And that's just where you know, you sit back and you enjoy it and be thankful for those days and still know that there's more work to do. There's more days, like, you know, we're here for a reason. God put us here for a reason, that purpose, and figuring out that moving forward is what we are doing and is what we are here, why we are here, meant to be God's reason for us walking this earth so that we can get this done. Is it always going to get done? No, and I believe, like, when you look at it and think about it, everything that's going on, we're born sinners. Nothing while we are here. Now, once we get to heaven, all that changes. Everything's perfect because that's how it's supposed to be every day. Here on earth in the physical, it's not like that because we were born sinners. I mean, you can get close to perfection, and I'll even go as far as like 99.99%. You can get that close, but you'll never be perfect just because you were born sinners. But once you go to heaven, that's where it changes. And I can say, like, most of the stuff here in this physical world, we're not even going to be worried about. I mean, that's for another time too. But going back to the notes, just to highlight a couple of things. For being a leader, my men and women out there, it can lead to confrontation. You will be misunderstood. Situations that you don't understand will come at you, and it's not always going to be the same, but like one day a couple thrown at you, the next week it might be coming down like a rainstorm. But that's okay. You're also going to be criticized, and you're going to be mocked and threatened. But for the entirety of this podcast, this one right here, right now, God has chosen you to tear down this bondage that demons want over people. And that's the main point right there. Moving forward, keeping faith, staying strong, our purpose, our journey. That's part of it right there, is doing what we're supposed to be doing on a daily basis, getting through these storms, getting through these seasons, helping people, and living that godly life. And that's what I wanted to throw at you today. And I hope y'all enjoyed it. And I think I mentioned this in the last podcast as well, but I've got a lot more information coming in. So these videos are going to be up and coming, and we will be looking forward to seeing you on the next podcast. I hope y'all have a great and blessed day. Bye.